Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. I'm coming at you, depending on when you're watching this. NXT is still going on, but this is such an important bit of news that I needed to come on here and I needed to give you guys my honest opinion right after some big news broke. It was announced in a video package and it was revealed through people within the wrestling media had dropped it, and then Mariah May changed her social media or not her status, her username on X to her new WWE on-screen name, which is Blake Monroe, and already this is already being met with outrage and disgust, and man, they did Mariah May dirty. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys remember what Gunther's name was before, and remember how much of an outrage there was before that? There was that infamous Keith Lee tweet, basically said "poor Walter." You guys don't even remember him as Walter anymore. He's a two-time world champion, longest reigning intercontinental champion in the history of WWE. Guys, this stuff happens. This is legal stuff. I understand it's very flimsy with the way that they do this naming process, with how they change names in between companies. Like Jade Cargill got to keep her name. Ethan Page got to keep his name. I could come up with a bunch of different independent names that have come over and got to keep their names and didn't get their names changed. Guys, we don't know the full story. Like we had the same conversation when Ricky Starks changed his name to Ricky Saints. And it was clearly because of like it was a trademarking thing. And sometimes these stars, like WWE wants to trademark these names. And so otherwise you're going to be like Cody. Remember what happened with Cody Rhodes? You guys remember what happened with Cody Rhodes? They trademarked his name. And remember, he left WWE and it took almost a year. It actually took him until maybe about 6 months into AEW's existence for him to actually get the Rhodes last name on him. And then 2 years later, he was back in WWE. So it's just, there are so many other things in wrestling, in life, whatever, to be worried about than some silly ass name change that by the time Mariah May wins the women's NXT championship and she goes on to be a star in WWE because she herself is a freaking star, you're not going to remember this. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, you're not going to even bat an eye at this. You're going to be calling her Blake Monroe. Quit lying to yourselves. Like this is the most nonsensical thing to get mad about. I know I'm going to get texts about it. I got texts from people when Ricky Saints became a thing. Also, this is going to make you guys feel terrible. The report going around is this name is significant to Mariah May because it's her little niece's name is Blake. The other thing is her real name isn't Mariah May. It's her middle name that she was using. She's not calling herself Mariah May Mead. Now, if it were me personally, I would have just added an E on to May, or you could have named her Mariah Monroe or something like that. I get where they're going with this, with the whole glamour thing. They're trying to, get a little bit of the Marilyn Monroe thing into this character because, in some ways, Mariah May kind of reminds you of that a little bit. So I see where they were going with this. Guys, don't honestly think that, especially with the era of creative that's going on there, don't you think that talent would have some sort of input if their name was going to be changed? I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Like this is such a non-issue. It really it amazes me sometimes what fans get mad about. It really does. It really does. I was very wrong when WWE chose to let go of R-Truth. And now he's back as Ron Killings. Okay? Also, separate from that, that's the reverse of this. Just the reverse of this. Like, we knew Ron Killings as R-Truth for 17 years, and now he's going by his real name because of a very public, dispute of coming back into the company, and now he's got this character. He was typecasted as a buffoon. This is the reverse of that. So, listen, guys, this happens in wrestling all the time. It really does. There's been some bad ones. There really has been some bad ones. Initially, I thought that I wasn't going to like, the whole Gunther name change, but now I don't care. I'm telling you guys that this is just one of those things because she was very publicly in AEW. She was very publicly Mariah May. She's been Mariah May her entire career. And you guys are just like, hey, some of this is coming from the AEW tribal side, and they're just to be like, man, Mariah really lost it. Yeah, she's not getting paid the money that she wants. Guys, she chose to go to WWE for less money because she wants to be there. So everything that comes with it. She knew walking in the door that this was very possible. So instead of getting mad about a situation that is not yours to worry about, why don't we actually have faith in the talent in terms of how great she is? And we know that she's going to make this work because she's so damn great. We saw what she did in AEW for 2 years. For those of people who follow Stardom, they know how great this young woman is. And whether it's in NXT, whether it's going to be on the main rosters, because she's going to be there relatively in short order, she's so damn great. Why does a name change have to bother you to the point where you're going to lose your shit? Because what the fuck are we talking about? A lot of these people who are getting mad about it are just mad that Mariah May's not in their company anymore. That's what this is. And it's also just a bunch of grifters who are just going to, just try to make a quick buck off of it. Just so you know, hey, just because you want to fake outrage. Guys, we've seen this so many times in professional wrestling. I gave you another example of why this needs to happen, why she needed to change her name. Because what if, God forbid, something happens and she has to leave WWE? She can't even take her name with her. I'm not saying that will happen, but look at Cody Rhodes. He was literally known as Cody for like the first 6 months of AEW. He was literally known as Cody from the minute he left WWE for basically about 4 or 5 years while he was out of WWE on the independent scene and then getting to AEW. He didn't even have a last name. That's really what this is. So it's just like you guys. It's amazing to me what upsets fans in just any respect. It's just like, who cares? Screen names, stage names. This happens in show business. Just because it's a very well-known, well-publicized free agent from another company going to the other. This is another example of why, like tribalistic mindsets and tribalism just kind of just ruin wrestling, because it's just, most of the people who are going to be mad about this are the people who are just going to, get upset and just be like, hey, they'll go watch their show. They'll go watch AEW and, hey, why can't we just be happy for her to be in WWE? And not find a reason, and not have to find a reason to be mad about something, or find a reason to just dunk on WWE. They took away Mariah's. Guys, she's still going to be great. That's what matters. She's there. Okay. And all these other name changes that have happened over the years, you may have been bothered by it initially. Like I said, I was bothered by Gunther initially. 3 years later, you guys don't even remember what he was called before. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.